It's Purple Daily on Score North and ScoreNorth.com.
You like that? You like that? You like that? On 3, 1, 2, 3. You like it?
Welcome in to the Friday Purple Daily live stream here on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. We have all sorts of stuff on this Feedback Friday from you guys, including, for those of you wondering, a photo finish in yesterday's Random Viking of the Week that stirred up all sorts of controversy, comments on the YouTube channel. I mean, this is probably the most examined, people literally playing it back on 0.25 speed yesterday on the YouTube channel, on Spotify.
Yep. And depending on how this goes, we might have to go back into the archives of earlier Random Vikings and actually overturn another one.
I don't know if that's how the judicial system works here on Purple Daily.
I don't know.
You're already bracing for an L here. Lawyer Chase has made a ruling, and we will get to it.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like, well, if I lose, then I'm going to go.
Then I'm going to have to win another one or appeal this one again to a higher entity. You never know.
So we will get to that. We've got. We also have. I'm gonna bring a text message exchange with Judd to the table from earlier this week that I feel like needs an examination. So we'll get to that. I don't know if Judd knows what I'm talking about or not, but it'll be good fodder for the show. The show is presented by our friends at TCL, which has award-winning TVs for any budget, any space, all with stunning picture quality. TCL makes more than just TVs. They offer mobile products, audio devices, and home appliances. TCL brings you joy and simplicity through innovative technology. Learn more at TCL.com. And a shout out to our friends, at Federated. Federated's been around for over 100 years, like a great offensive line for your business. Risk management, protection, and elevating your business through those tools at federatedinsurance.com, where you can find your marketing rep as well and a full list of industries that they work with. At Federated, it's our business to protect yours. Wow, last night, Judd, you and we had a good time at the Nadine Babu Go for Tailgate, raising money for the Leukemia Lymphoma Society.
Great cause.
And it's fun because we, I think when we are standing together at a public gathering, it's easier to identify, oh, those are the idiots from Purple Daily. So a bunch of you guys came up and said hi and talked Vikings and whatever with us. So if you ever see any of us, Declan at a Pearl Jam concert with listeners last night, or if you see us out in the wild, come on up, cheers a beer, and talk some football with us. It was fun getting to know some of the Purple Daily and the Score North listeners last night at the tailgate.
Well, lots of great fans. As I have long said, our RPD family, viewers, listeners are awesome. They are some of the most diehard, and I love the fact too that a lot of them want the unvarnished truth about the team too. I love that. I rarely hear, you guys now. I don't hear, you guys are negative. We all want the same exact thing. And I think a Super Bowl championship starts with the fact that you've got to be truthful about the club as opposed to Pollyanna, which does you actually no good. So I love that. You guys are awesome.
It was a who's who at the Pearl Jam concert last night. I mean, hey, Justin Morneau, you can come up and say hi to the Purple Daily family and listeners.
He's a little shy, a little shy.
He doesn't like how you talk about the Twins.
That also could.
The Bally's thing will get him fired.
I think he doesn't like that you rip on Bally's, and Declan and I are just here trying to make friends with everyone. And here's you're
well, you know what? You know what? If you're gonna blow smoke up the behind of people that are loyal to our show, I'm not gonna put up with you.
Oh my gosh! All right, let's get to some of the feedback here. And you can always hit us up. The two places that we pull the most from are the YouTube comments, the Purple Daily YouTube comments, and the Score North app, which is there's a feedback tab. It's free to download. So let's start with Purple Pain Forums on the YouTube comment section. He says, so the Vikings are going to give market-setting contracts to a tight end, a receiver, and possibly a left tackle. 3 guys with combined 0 playoff wins. That's right, Darisaw has never won a playoff game. Within 3 years, the roster will consist of JJ, TJ, Darisaw, and 50 slappies. Can you be considered an analytical GM if you're handing out market-setting contracts like candy at a parade? An analytics guy should be able to let Tyreek Hill walk and still win a Super Bowl with a bunch of rookies. Well, I think there's different rules for if you're the general manager of a team with Patrick Mahomes as the quarterback, then yes, you can let a $30 million wide receiver walk, fill in with some good wide receivers, and Patrick Mahomes will still carry you. Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback, but you can't just be taking away TJ Hockenson and Justin Jefferson. So I don't know. I mean, well, how do you feel about it is possible they're going to have multiple sort of market-setting contracts here in the next 12 months?
Yeah, I mean, Darrisaw's going to get a huge contract. I don't think he's going to set the market at that position because I don't think, unless he takes another big step, I don't think he's going to be the best left tackle in football. Hockenson, though, I mean, he's not the best tight end right now, but he is young enough. And, you know, the second contract is where you make your bones. I mean, that's where you're going to make your where you're going to make your payday. But this also, you guys, explains again why Kirk Cousins was not signed to an extension in March. They clearly are banking on the fact that Kirk Cousins is either going to come back for below market value or they're going to find a quarterback because it's abundantly clear they have prioritized other players, and Justin Jefferson deserves it. But I mean, it's very clear that they have prioritized Hockenson, Jefferson, and probably Darrisaw over Kirk. And so, like, this is where this is trending. This is why, you know, for all of the Crusaders, this is why Kirk was not signed. And Kirk Cousins, if he has a good year, I don't think it's going to take a cheaper contract. I think he's going to say, I can get one more big contract. And there's been nothing about Kirk's career that has shown that he would accept one. So this is where it's going to, this to me, of that whole note, the most interesting thing to me is going to be the quarterback, because that's where they're almost, it seems like, confident that they can draft someone or get a quarterback on a rookie contract. That's going to be sort of the linchpin to where this goes, though, because the prioritizing of certain contracts is just abundantly clear, starting with a Hockenson contract.
It is a little weird. I know this guy's not picking at him necessarily, but how we're just making every decision in football black and white if it's an analytics or not an analytics issue, when I think sometimes we confuse what analytics really truly means. But at the same time, to his point, it's going to become incredibly difficult to pay all these stars, the Jeffersons, the Darrisaws of the world, and who knows what happens maybe with your rookie or second-year class of players that take steps forward, and then also not have a rookie quarterback. Like, at this rate, if they pay all these star players, there's no real path to me that says, number one, Kirk Cousins is the quarterback, or two, it has to be a very cheap bridge guy, but most likely a rookie-scale contract guy.
Yeah, like if you... I think, I mean, there's a chance they could just try to go really top heavy with, let's say, TJ already has a market setting contract. JJ's going to have one probably, maybe even the next week. I wouldn't be shocked if that comes down before week one. And then Darrisaw next year. You could do the Kirk thing, which would also, I don't think it'd be market setting, but like it would be a lot of money. You just have to be great with your drafting and your waiver wire pickups. If you can't have four guys at the top of the market, and then, by the way, that doesn't even count edge rushers, of which both of their starting edge rushers, Marcus Davenport and Daniil Hunter, are not under contract for 2024. So that's another important position. Let's say you bring one of those guys back for, let's say Davenport has a great year and you sign him to a contract. You can't then also be whiffing on first-round picks and second-round picks. Like, you've got to hit on more players in the draft than it looks like they had the last couple of years. But, you know, it is... I think sometimes we make too big of a deal out of, like, the market-setting contracts, too. The cap goes up a lot every single year because the NFL is just printing money left and right. So if you're the next guy in line and you're a top 5 player at your position, you're going to set the market, and then someone else is going to set the market. So... Frank Marino chimes in here and says, as I watched the press conference yesterday with the coach and the general manager, I couldn't help but notice that when Judd asked his question about Jalen Reagor and was it Ross Blacklock? Who they took gambles on these guys and they wind up cutting these guys, that Kevin O'Connell glared at Judd while he was asking the question.
Oh, really?
I did not notice. Did you notice? Did you?
I did not. I was
looking
at Kwesi, so I didn't look at Kevin. But I will say this: Kevin is big on eye contact. So like when he was, so Kwesi gave his opening statement first. Kevin went second. When Kevin gives his statement, he is making eye contact constantly because we locked eyes at one point because I was who
broke eye contact first?
we locked eyes. So the glaring thing is very, very possible. Yes, I think it's the way he goes about it. And look, if you are a coach of a team, eye contact's not a bad thing. So yes, he does definitely. I don't know now. A glare is an interesting choice of words, but I also when Seifert asked Kwesi his question about what's your next trick in talking about the potential for a Justin Jefferson contract, Kevin O'Connell looked at Kevin Seifert and like just sort of grinned and smirked, like, yeah, that's very cute. So yes, O'Connell definitely has a facial reaction that makes it clear how he perceives or feels about a question. So that's a very observant note, though. I like that note. It's very observant.
Just want to make sure that there's no tension here, unnecessary tension. You're there asking some relevant, pointed questions. You're trying to take the place of Chris Thomason, I feel like, who people kind of made fun of Chris for, he was kind of a bull in a china shop. But you know what? He asked questions that were relevant to fans, and sometimes you have to ruffle some feathers.
Yeah, and Seifert's very good too, though. Like he's very, very good. But yeah, there's questions that, and here's my thing is I don't think tension between reporters and coaches or players is bad. I think it's good. Like there should be. Like if you're
get to the truth.
Yeah, and if you're yucking it up or like kissing their ass, you're doing no one any good. I would have loved it, and just to be clear here, I would have liked to have heard this question. Yeah, hey Kevin, what's up? And I didn't, and Bally's might have cut the question off, so I apologize if it was asked. But when Sonny Gray got, a couple days ago, I think it was 6 innings, 81 pitches, and got pulled, and you could tell he was pissed off. I never heard the question, did you try to stay in? Like I want that question, and that's going to cause tension. That's going to cause friction.
They cut the feed right before.
Well, and I don't know if it got asked or not, but my point is, I want that is so if the coach doesn't like the question, that's actually, in my opinion, a good thing.
Yeah, it's weird. I the only guy I've ever been like intimidated ever interviewing was Dave Haxtell, Judd, the now Seattle Kraken head coach.
Yeah,
but was a longtime coach at the University of North Dakota. He has the Sam Bradford effect where he doesn't blink when he talks to you. And he has these insane, creepy eyes that are like glaring into your soul. And as like a 19, 20-year-old interviewing Division I coaches for the first time, that one still, I think of that and still intimidates me a little bit.
John Roush was mine when I covered the Twins beat like 10 years ago. He had tattoos from his earlobes all the way down to his toenails. Yeah, and he was about 6'7", and he hated the media.
Oh, really?
Hated the media. If you walked up, even just said like, "Hey, John, hope you're having a good day," he'd be like, "Get out of my personal space." Earl Abbott chimes in here and says, "I like the Hockenson signing, but I'm still not a Kwesi fan. I don't like that he shops at Ross for knockoff NFL Wow, Ross, that's a drive-by at. Unless they want to endorse the show, I wouldn't say a great store, but you can find great discounted clothing and shoe items at Ross. No.
What did he? I don't even know. So what's he referring to though?
What's Ross? That's a clothing store.
Well, to answer Judd's question, I will keep reading it, and we'll get.
Okay.
And to answer that, you've never seen the Ross clothing stores, or like, I don't know what you would call them. Okay, I'll Google it now, just Google Ross store. Yeah. Look at the portfolio. Kwesi says, "Okay, your first draft pick is a 4th-string safety. Oft injured Booth can't stay on the field. Ingram, sheesh." How did you go through the offseason and not address the interior offensive line? Sir Kirk of bruised ribs hath expressed displeasure of being hit on every play. Blacklock, Rager, I'm sure I left someone out. If you keep trading for what-if players, you waste draft capital on could-have-beens and end up with fewer draft picks on draft day. Okay, portfolio guy.
Wow, that's a lot of disdain.
That is.
I mean, I can't completely... say that's wrong because it's not, but look, it's going to take a few years here, and yes, the first draft does not look good. Like flat out, the first draft does not look good. It's trending. I've tried to say let's be patient, and yes, some things could change, but it looks like a bad draft. The second draft we don't know yet, and look, if he can't hit on draft picks, he won't be here long. Like you can't. To Phil's point, if you're going to pay guys, which any team is going to pay or they should pay their best players. So we can debate it, but the reality is, if you get a guy and he is really good, it's not your goal to be like, well, if that's going to be your second contract, bleep you. It's your goal to keep him. But then, to what you're saying, Phil, you've got to hit on your draft picks. You absolutely have to. And if you can't, you're not going to last long. And keep in mind too, there was a time there where Spielman did hit on some draft picks really nicely.
Yeah.
So like for all we've ripped, some of what Rick did, and there were certainly things that were open to criticism. Rick Spielman had some pretty nice drafts, well beyond Christian Ponder. So that's the most important thing. You've got to hit on your picks, because if you don't, you're absolutely screwed. You can't build a team through retaining players and then going out in the open market and trying to sign free agents, because the salary cap will screw you on that.
Yeah, I do think it was time for a change at GM, but on his way out in the first round, Rick Spielman gifted the Vikings franchise the best wide receiver in the NFL and a top 5 left tackle.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
We pretty good place to start. Yeah, and I mean Daniil Hunter from like 6 years ago in the middle rounds. So there's some pillars on this team, thanks to Rick Spielman in part. Mm-hmm. John from Australia chimes in and says, guys, I've been watching a YouTube channel called Secret Base that's been doing this Vikings history decade to decade documentary. I'm like 3 episodes in. It's incredible. And I'm going to keep reading this. I think if you're a younger fan, or maybe you don't know much about the history of the Vikings, before like the 2000s or the 90s, like Judd, your knowledge goes back further than us, but none of us really remember the Super Bowl eras. This is a great YouTube docuseries. So check it out. The channel is Secret Base. I think it's Dorktown is the production company.
Yeah. I think, and they, at least at one point, Dorktown, I think, was affiliated with SB Nation, because they did the Mariners thing in the 90s too, which was really good. Like good docuseries on the Mariners, mini dynasty of baseball, which was really, really good. That's another good series.
You watched the 90s Mariners docuseries?
Yeah, it was like a
and don't know who Jay Buhner is?
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember everyone.
I mean, Jay Buhner was a huge part of the 90s Mariners. I feel like they would mention his name on the documentary. Judd, you're muted, by the way.
They traded Jay Buhner. Great Seinfeld. They traded Jay Buhner.
So check it out on YouTube. Now, as an Australian, he says, I've not been exposed to much Vikings history as it happened, but I've been piecing things together through research and honestly Purple Daily as well. So for starters, thank you guys. I've been watching this channel lately, and I'm the documentary channel. I'm up to the 90s decade. I'm 20 minutes in and just learned how significant the Herschel Walker trade really was. Just learned that in 96, he went back to Dallas even. So they even got him back. I don't think I've ever facepalmed so hard in my life. Sorry to bring up a touchy subject with the Vikings, but I just want you guys to know I chose this franchise without knowing their history, but I'm here for life.
Well, then I guess my question is how? Like what did you see that was like Vikings? Like was it the purple? Was it the jerseys? Was it the helmets? Like what would you see that in Australia where you're like, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm going to adopt a National Football League team, and it's going to be the Minnesota Vikings. I'd love to know what triggered that.
It is hilarious though that I'm getting an echo from Judd's. I'm going to mute Judd there for a second. It is kind of funny though that it's like you get into a relationship with someone and it's going pretty well, the Vikings relationship is never perfect. But then you find out, oh man, she has 4 felonies and 6 other divorces and all this baggage that you didn't know about. That's what becoming a Vikings fan without knowing the history is, I feel like. You have to know the history to really fully appreciate the season to season now going forward, don't you?
Yes, and I would think that you would also know, at the very least, the Super Bowls, 4 appearances, no victories, things like that. There are monumental Vikings moments. I could see not knowing some of the details, but there are the playoff defeats, the Super Bowl defeats, the NFC Championship game. Those things are you would have to avoid those on purpose not to know about them.
Yeah. So if you're new to the team or whatever, go watch this docuseries, The Secret Base YouTube channel. Tyler B via YouTube says, Random Viking of the Week photo finish from Thursday is like when John Cena and Batista both went over the top rope simultaneously in the Royal Rumble and their feet hit the ground at the same time.
I thought about bringing that up yesterday, too. It very much. I was just waiting for Mackie to come and tear both of his quads, which is actually what happened to Vince McMahon because he was so pissed running down that, or speed walking down that ramp so much, getting in the ring. He legitimately tore both of his quads. It's an incredible
had to sit
story.
in the corner with 2 torn quads.
It's where he started.
David Henneman says, you guys really need a buzzer for Random Viking of the Week. It would solve a whole whose guess is it problem.
Yeah.
Whoever hits the buzzer first gets to make the guess. Maybe that's what we should do. You have to buzz in and say, I'm going to even just say buzz or I'm going to guess now.
I think what we should do, I thought about this. I think that we should have a code word like stop or guess, like just one word, and that freezes the entire show.
Childress. Can Childress be the code word?
Favre.
Tahi.
Anything we want.
Tahi.
But that then freezes the show. So at that point in time, and the workaround, the sort of smart way is, even if you're not sure, because you got 3 guesses, you can say Tahi, and now the show is frozen. And then you can think about it some more, and then take your guess.
But there's got to be a clock. You can't just hijack the show. This could open up a whole new world
like
of
5
problems.
seconds. Like 5 seconds though. That you've got 5 seconds then.
And then the other person gets a chance to jump in if you haven't or say
right.
it.
But you get the first guess. I think that's probably fair.
I like this. Well, we do have a ruling from Lawyer Chase. We have an official ruling on the winner. It was the most controversial, talked about, dissected, played back, rewound moment in the history of Random Viking of the Week every Thursday on Purple Daily. And we will get to that ruling in just a second after we say hi to our friends at Ugly Deck. Let's talk to Ugly Deck here, okay? You can save a lot of money and have a beautiful deck. What more would you want?
Look at that deck right there. Look at that deck right there. And then look at the guy in the duck suit right there. It's worth a celebration because, a maintenance-free deck, it can be expensive, but what if I told you there is a way to save $10,000? Phil said a lot. How about that $10,000, even if you think you can't build a deck yourself? UglyDeck.com has the DIY Assist program where Ugly Deck installs your footings and ledger, designs and assists with your project, and you finish the deck and you save thousands. You also get a free DIY coach who helps you from start to finish. So this is like having Kevin O'Connell. It's like your cousins, and you're like, I'm pretty good, but I need some help. And Kevin O'Connell comes along and saves the day.
I will ride with this deck until they don't let us build any more decks.
Any more bleeping decks. Half of the Ugly Deck DIY customers have never framed a deck before, but you can. And the average savings, again, between $10,000 and $11,000. If you go to their website, you can pick out your deck and check out all the great national brand products that they carry. Right now, they are in the midst of their fall promotion, $500 off. Just tell them that Judd or the Purple Daily crew sent you. Late summer and fall, the perfect time to build a deck. So get started now on their website. It's uglydeck.com. Click on DIY, and Ugly Deck will ride with you, and you will have a beautiful new deck, duck suit not included.
Speaking of riding, by the way, so it's still Bennington pontoon season, and you can stop into any of the Power Lodge locations in Brainerd, Ramsey, Anemia, Sauk Rapids, or Miller Marine in St. Cloud. It's fast becoming ATV season, maybe into snowmobile season. Not maybe, it will be, inevitably, snowmobile season at some point. And so Power Lodge and Miller Marine are your places to get into some of these fun toys, as we're showing you Judd and his family on this pontoon right now.
That is what we call, Phil, throttle therapy. And while that's not my family, I'm going to tell you right now, I would have welcomed an invitation from those people to be out there on that Bennington because it's gorgeous. Where was my invitation? Bennington's fantastic. Perhaps I'll buy one myself to get my own throttle therapy.
Yes. You can find the websites at millermarine.com and powerlodge.com. And then a shout out to our friends over at 3 Jack in the North Loop in Minneapolis. Just someone sent us a photo a couple days ago of their amazing spread at 3 Jack. Great food and a great time if you're a golf fan too, Dex.
Absolutely, yeah. You can get some of these loaded nachos. We got a note from our friend Lucy that a lot of the Purple Daily audience has hit them up about their fantasy football draft option, those simulator bays. So you can go get one of those bays, get 2 hours. The first hour's for free, plus with Vikings game day situations coming up here, you can go to 3Jack for absolutely awesome specials for snacks and drinks just for Vikings game day. You can go to 3Jack and 3jack.com to book a simulator bay, to book that fantasy football draft, to check out all their great menu options. Go to 3Jack and check them out in the North Loop in Minneapolis.
All right, boys, we have a ruling. I would say just anecdotally, kind of sifting through the YouTube comment sections, people tweeting at us, it felt like the audience was leaning 60-40 Declan. Judd, you had quite a bit of support because it's not who starts the answer. It's
right.
Who says the whole thing, right? But I'm curious. But again, this is unprecedented territory, which is why we have a guy like Lawyer Chase on retainer to sift through. How do we pull this apart? People are slowing it down and saying, even at like a quarter speed, you guys hit the post at the same time saying Hank Basket, that you finished basket at the same time.
Now was Lawyer Chase provided with the Reese Lloyd parallel?
See, why do you keep bringing up the past is the past? Okay, I don't know why we need to keep drumming up the past.
Because it's the same. Because you won that one, and I agreed with it, setting a precedent that forever we are beholden to.
Well, let's see what Lawyer. I have not read this yet, so I'm just opening up the inbox here. Let's see what Lawyer Chase says, guys. This was arguably the closest photo finish I have ever witnessed. Literally nothing can top this because it's so close. I had to watch the replay several times. Even in 0.25 replay speed, it is still so difficult to see the winner. The rule from precedent and common sense is whoever finishes the complete pronunciation of the former Vikings' full name is the winner. After a painstaking analysis that considered several factors, Declan is the winner. Judd is seething right now.
Not sure I'm conceding this yet. Not sure I'm conceding this one yet. Yes, let's hear the more. I've not read this.
Okay, first, Declan's facial expressions illustrate that he finished the last syllable of Hank Basket first. Literally, his mouth stops the enunciation before Judd did. Second, Declan's voice ends before Judd's does, just barely at 0.25 speed. Finally, it seems that Declan completely pronounces the full name, whereas Judd's pronunciation of the last syllable is almost silent. For the foregoing reasons, I believe that Declan is the winner of Random Viking of the Week.
Chase might want to take into consideration, I was working from the Vikings with a mic that is not as good as Declan's.
I mean,
I'm going to argue that I did pronounce that fully.
Boy, I don't know what if you're pushing back on Lawyer Chase's ruling. That's another unprecedented step here in the process. I don't know where we go.
And I'm seeing notes that still agree with me.
Declan, you're reading the comments right now on YouTube. What would you say, just anecdotally? Are people agreeing with Lawyer Chase? Do they feel like Judd got an unfair shake here?
Some people are thinking I'm paying Chase under the table.
There's criticism of Chase. There's criticism of Chase right now. He's coming under fire.
So the difference between this ruling and the Reese Lloyd situation is I clearly finished Reese Lloyd before you did. You started saying Reese Lloyd, but then I jumped in and finished Reese Lloyd before you could finish saying it. Mm-hmm. Lawyer Chase is saying that Declan not only started saying it first, which is less relevant than, he also finished saying Hank Basket first. So that's his ruling.
Boy, I don't know about this. You know what? I'm going to think about my options. I'm going to take the weekend. I'm going to consider more options.
Okay.
I might get my own. You know what I might do? I might find another Purple Daily viewer or listener who is a lawyer.
Oh wow!
And,
are there any other lawyers
and
out
we
there?
We might go to a higher court.
Okay, listen. If you can find another lawyer out there in the Purple Daily audience that would like to take on this case,
yep,
then you guys can put together your argument, and I would say we're open to another interpretation just to see what another
somebody
lawyer
let
would
me
say.
know.
Okay.
Somebody let me know at J Zolgad, JZULGAD on Twitter, if need be. If you're a lawyer and want to represent me pro bono, sports dad, pro bono. We can consider our options. We have a long weekend to do so, plenty of time, and we will come back on Tuesday.
If you'd like to work over Labor Day weekend, helping Judd fight this
with
ruling
an appeal,
from Lawyer
with
Chase.
an appeal.
Okay.
Yep, Chase, you've lost me. You've lost me. You're off my Supreme Court, the Purple Daily.
Okay, since we're kind of in this portion of the show here, I think it's time to bring a text message exchange with Judd to the table here from earlier this week. I ran this by Declan and said, is this a topic that we should broach on the show? Because I'm curious what other people think. So the backstory is Judd needed a new microphone. And the mic sounds great. This is your new microphone, right?
Yes, it is.
Yes. Right? This is your new microphone. So it sounds great. Looks great. It's everything. Declan and I had sent you some links of like, we all agree, hey, let's get the same mic Declan has. First of all, it's a good microphone.
Sure.
Secondly,
nice.
it's the brand is Shure, right? It's great stuff. And if you need troubleshooting, Declan can help you troubleshoot because it's the same microphone, right? So it'd be great. We sent you a few links, and you kind of hit me up off to the side, and you were honest with me and said, I'd rather you guys are the audio guys. Why don't you if you could just buy the mic and then I'll pay you back for the microphone, Right. These are home studios for us. So like the company has studios, but for our home studios, like we pay for like extra microphones and stuff. You said, you buy it, Phil, I'll pay you back. And so the mic gets delivered via Amazon to Judd's door. I send you a text and say, hey, it looks like they delivered it, so you get it.
Send me the picture.
Yep.
At my doorstep.
Yep. And then the text message exchange starts this way. Judd says, can I get you the money today or tomorrow? I can drop it off. And I was like, drop it? Like, drop the money off? Like, are we...
Yeah, I could come to your place, just, give you the cash.
And so I said, do you have Venmo or PayPal? You could just send me the money via Venmo or PayPal. And you said, heck no, cold hard cash.
Yes.
And I'm like, all right. I'm trying to think of so for me, cash is like the last option for convenience because like I personally don't use cash. And so I said, what about a check? Like I'd probably rather have a check because I could just take a picture of the check and deposit to my account, right? And you said I haven't seen a check in ages, which I agree. Like I haven't had a checkbook in ages. I have cash burning a hole in my pocket.
Yep.
I can bring you the cash today. And I have so many questions. My questions are starting with this. When you pay for things, your two options are, because you don't do Venmo, PayPal, or check. Your options are a card or cash, right? So how do you pay other people back in just cash? Is that how you roll? That you just
depends on what
only
it is,
use cash?
Because I ordinarily pay for stuff with my cash card, like most folks do. But yeah, if I owe somebody like just a lump sum back, it's often just cash.
Straight cash, homie.
Yes, it's straight cash. Yeah. I guess I'm more. I mean, if I think about it, I guess in that way I'm a little bit more, although not entirely, like Royce is, because he carries large bills.
He loves his cash.
And he loves his cash. Now, I think he tries to pay for more in cash than I do. I don't pay for a lot of stuff in cash, but like for this with just a lump sum, because I don't have any other. To your point, I don't have like PayPal. Dawn does. I don't.
I think what's funny though is like in this transaction, you get the mic that you were going to get regardless, and I convert digital money to cash, and now I'm going to take the cash and then convert it to digital money.
Right.
So you've inconvenienced me for doing you a favor is what's happening here. That's what I'm telling you.
Well, how big of an inconvenience is it? Plus,
I mean, like, do you just use cash at a restaurant? You just plop cash down on the table?
You could.
The only place I use cash is like a Vegas slot machine.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I've used cash at restaurants before. Like if we go out to eat and we have cash and it's like $80 or something. Yeah.
Put a hundo down and peace
I'll
out.
Cash down. Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, that's my age too. I'm not saying that all 53-year-olds don't have PayPal. They probably do. But I don't think it's as unusual for like my age group to do that as it is like for yours. But yeah, I have I have. I apologize.
I'll take the cash. Don't get me wrong. I just
Do you not want the money?
No.
Do you not want the money? Because I mean, I'll take it as a.
Now you're threatening to.
I'll take it as a Christmas gift. The next time.
Judge,
the next time.
I'd almost rather not have the money than have to deal with the cash. But I'll take.
Wow. So hold on a second here. Like, wait. There's more questions then. So so when I give you this cash, what are you not going to or do, or what are you going to do with it? I don't go to strip clubs, and I go to Vegas once a year. I'll probably save it for the next time I go to Vegas, so I can just have Sure.
No, Declan told me that you can use it at bars because if you wave a 20, they'll come over to you. Do we still do that?
Declan,
they're gonna gravitate to the guy waving the 20. Hey, over here.
If you are bar hopping or if you are at a crowded bar and my brother-in-law showed me this trick on my 21st birthday when he first took me out. He said, you can always pay for your car because that's fine, but you have a much better option of showing cash and getting a drink because it's one less thing that they have to do. It's easier to do a transaction with cash than it is with the card at the bar. 1,000. There's a lot more time. There's a paper receipt. You have to sign the receipt. They have to make sure they get the receipt back. A cash transaction for a drink is 10 times easier. That is mostly the only time that I usually use cash, is if I know that I'm going to be bar hopping. But I will say, as just a external viewer of this, the fact that you didn't, which I somewhat side with you because it's a confusing thing to buy, but the fact that you made Phil buy it. And then now Phil has to take this money, either have to go to the bank, go through the archaic process of depositing cash into a bank account, which is inconvenient in 2023, is a very interesting move from you.
I never even thought about it. I assumed as long as Phil got paid, it would be fine. So I apologize. I didn't even think about this as an inconvenience. I just thought,
what's the audience saying right now? Am I just being unreasonable when it comes to the order of if you're going to pay someone back?
People are get back to football. That's right.
They might be. I think I would go Venmo number 1, PayPal number 2, a check number 3, and then probably cash number 4 if I'm ranking those 4.
I will say though, with Venmo, my generation of people abuses Venmo. I'm under the basis of all right, so Phil and I went to a wrestling show 2 weeks ago, right? So there was a couple. Phil bought a round, I bought a round, right? It goes back and forth. I loathe when I get a beer for someone and I get an $8 Venmo. I will send it back. I don't need your $8. Just get me the next round,
right?
Let's call it square. But let's stop doing every Venmo transaction for every little tiny purchase. If it's a big purchase, like there's a microphone that's being exchanged, or there's a big dinner bill that was split and someone took it, different story. But there is a limit to what you should and should not be Venmoing.
The comments are amazing. Some people are calling me lazy. David Ditter says no. Here we go.
I got you.
K-Mac says, I paid my brother back $100 in cash a year ago. He still has the $100. Oh, man. Most people are siding with Judd here that I should just take the cash.
This is...
So.
Yeah, no. I did not realize it was an inconvenience. I do apologize for that because I do appreciate. You don't need to apologize. I do appreciate the fact that you bought the mic, and it seems like a great mic. I hope it's not echoing constantly because I have no idea. I did go buy new headphones as well, so
they look good.
There is now nothing else I can do to cut down on the echo.
But I last thing on this. Sorry, I know. Last thing on this.
We're so sorry. You came here for Vikings conversation.
Yeah, people are like
the room has grown since we started talking about this. By the way,
it has. But I'm on my future mother-in-law's, I should say, phone plan. Okay, I'm on her phone plan. But I Venmo her for my cell phone bill every time. I'm not gonna go.
You should give her straight cash.
$55 every 25th of the month.
Wait, you're on her plan?
I am on her plan. Yeah.
Why are you on her plan at your age?
Well, there was another longer story.
I'm sorry, you're in your 30s. I'm just curious.
You're an adult, man. Why are you on parents' phone plans?
It was because when I moved out of my last place, I had Xfinity Mobile, and then my new building didn't have Xfinity, and then I had to get on a new cell phone plan. It was cheaper to join a family plan, so that's why I joined the family plan.
Okay, let me. I'm going to tell you, and first of all, if anyone from Declan's future in-laws, turn this off right now, okay? I got in big trouble for this a long time ago, but I'm going to tell you right now something very important. Your family is your wife and your kids potentially someday, which I obviously don't have kids, and your brothers and sisters, and it was, before they passed away, clearly your parents. In my opinion, in-laws, and I love my in-laws, okay, but I don't rely on them for anything family-wise. So like I don't see them. I see them as dear people. I love them because they mean the world to Dawn.
You create a little distance, though.
Well, they're not like I perceive family as being the people that you're in a house with.
So I agree. And by the way, we are working now to get back on our own phone plan. My fiance and I are just ours. That we're 30 years old,
I'm sorry.
adults,
I was just curious. Okay, yes. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be a jerk. I was just curious.
12 minutes later on Venmo transactions. I'm good. I'm good.
It's good.
I'm glad we worked through some of this stuff. And I will say, Judd, I apologize for being high maintenance. I'm being high maintenance. I appreciate that you're willing to. You're going to drive probably 20 minutes out of your way to hand deliver at some point the cash, and I appreciate that. So I want that to be front and center. Okay.
Well, it was a good conversation.
James Bergson says, "Hey, longtime listener here to the Purple Daily podcast. I've never reached out before because I've never had a real burning question. However, I have been wondering if any of you guys have any insight into Jaren Hall's personality. From what I've seen in his background, it seems as though there may be a good chance that he just doesn't have that fiery personality or that killer instinct that we want in a franchise quarterback. Can you shine some light on Jaren Hall's personality?"
You know what? He seems like a very smart kid. He's not a kid. He's like 25 right now. And so he's not, it's not like he is a traditional guy who's just out of school. I don't know that I would describe what I've seen as a killer instinct, but I also don't know. I don't want people to be someone that they're not. Now, I will say this, Christian Ponder's personality did work against him, but there are different ways to lead, and there are different ways to be what you consider a quarterback or quarterback material. So I would think the most fair thing to say is to be determined. No. I just don't know, but he's definitely mature, which I want.
He's super mature. Yeah, and I don't think he's gonna walk in and is Jaren Hall still on his mom's plan? Jaren Hall's got a family, man. Like he's got kids.
No, that doesn't mean he's not his mom's plan.
Are the kids on the grandparents' plan? I don't know, but I don't think he's going to walk in as the clear-cut number 3 quarterback and be like a leader of a 53-man. Right? I think maybe at some point if he becomes a backup and he's got more of a voice in the room, but he understands it's not his team. It's Kirk Cousins' team right now. So I don't know that he's not really been given a clearance to show his whole football personality, if that makes
100%.
Sense. Okay.
Yeah, and backup shouldn't. Like you don't want a backup who's going to try and be an alpha. So yes, it's not a satisfying answer, but I would say to be determined.
Yeah. Okay, Dougie McGee says, I'd like to pose a question. Why on earth does anyone think Mattison is going to be a good or even average running back this year? Of the 74 running backs with 100 rushing attempts the last 2 seasons, so 74, he ranks 68th in yards per carry out of 74, 45th in success rate out of 74, 43rd in explosive run rate out of 74, and 42nd in yards after contact. I mean, it's a fair question.
It's a very fair question, but I think it needs to be offset by this. Dalvin Cook wasn't as good by last season as most people thought. And so I don't think that there's like an expectation that Mattison 2023 is going to become Dalvin Cook 2018. I think the expectation is, and again, the offensive line plays a huge role here, that the run game can be more consistent. And so, yes, do I expect Alexander Mattison with his new contract and new job sort of to become Saquon Barkley? Not even close. Mm-hmm. Not even close. But that's not, again, if this works, this is not what the Vikings are after. The Vikings are after consistency. The Vikings are after gains of 5 yards. They're after not having losses of 3 yards. So like I think we're misrepresenting or missing what the Vikings see as being the ideal, because yes, Mattison is not like a Pro Bowl standout, can he consistently, and can the committee they're going to probably use, can they consistently get yards to put them in favorable passing situations?
Yeah.
That's the question.
I mean, I think I've seen some, a lot of like, well, be careful what you wish for getting rid of Dalvin Cook. And, like you guys all had the running back position group, your confidence rankings. Mackey had him at a 3, and like, I think it was like a 3, a 4, and a 5 or something. So it's funny that you guys wanted Dalvin out of here and now you're not confident in the running back room. Right. But like the running back position is, I'm not going to say it's important, obviously, but I'm okay with that being my least confident position on offense because you can find solutions a lot easier. There's much more of a supply of running backs than a demand. Quarterback is the opposite. Edge rusher is the opposite.
Yes.
There's a huge demand, and there's like way fewer guys than there are teams that can do it at those positions.
And also, if Dalvin Cook was still on this team, my ranking would not have changed that much. I was not that good. They didn't cut Dalvin Cook in his prime.
Yeah.
They cut a running back who's near the edge of the cliff that we have talked about on the show going back to the 1500 days. And they did it also, again, we got mesmerized by a couple of long runs last year, and he had some nice ones, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But what we forget about is all of the losses. The 3 yards here and 2 yards there, and now it's 2nd and 12. That's what we forget about. So, yes, Dalvin Cook in his prime was damn good. And Dalvin Cook, when he was breaking off long runs against the Bills and the Dolphins, was really good. But he didn't do that enough. So if we were to rank the running backs right now and put Dalvin Cook back on the Vikings, I'm not so sure that our confidence goes sky high.
Yeah. I probably would have got another point or two maybe higher, but you're probably right. I think we would have looked at just the sort of some of the numbers that Dougie McGee brought here, like the success rate, explosive run rate. I mean, those were the ones that were eroding for Dalvin. A couple more here for sure before we say goodbye, but a shout out to our friends. Over at Livia, Judd, for helping listeners lose all sorts of weight the last couple of years. We appreciate a 3rd season of Livia on board with Purple Daily here.
Absolutely. And look at Sports Dad right there. You're saying, oh, man, what happened there? How did you get to look so damn good, Sports Dad? I'm going to tell you right now, it started with my friends at Livia Weight Control Centers, who, by the way, for the 3rd year in a row now, have been named the best weight loss program in the state. So that's 3 consecutive years. That's a hat trick of that. It's 14 years of changing lives. And look, they changed my life. They've changed a ton of people in our PD family who have, and we appreciate this, sent us notes. And you can be next if you are looking to drop the weight. And do they have an offer for you right now? 3 months free if you join today. That's right, 3 months free. 855-GO-LIVEA, livia.com, inside or outside the state. So if you are a Vikings fan in Los Angeles, guess what? This whole thing can be done virtually. So just because they're based here does not mean that you have to live here to join a program that's the best in Minnesota. Livia, LIVEA.com, and we do appreciate them returning for another season.
Yes. Nutrisource also is the official dog food of Purple Daily, the official dog food for Maya Mackey, for Stella Zolgad, for Vinny Goff. Some people have said, hey, you guys saying like your dog will wake you up early to get Nutrisource is not a great selling point. Like, I mean, we're just being honest. Our dogs love Nutrisource so much that they are willing to beg for it any hour of the day. That's the selling point.
That's right. He old Vinny boy loves to wake up a little early sometimes too, and make sure, hey, I'll get my Nutrisource treats. I'll go right back to bed, but just give me I'm gonna go potty quick. Give me a couple bites of food, bites of those Nutrisource treats, and then I'll lay down with you. Okay, I'm not gonna be that too much behind maintenance. I'm not like my dad. I'm gonna be just completely fine once I get my Nutrisource treats.
Yes. NutrisourcePetFoods.com, NutrisourcePetFoods.com to find a Nutrisource retailer near you. And then one more thing here before we get to a few last questions. Over at scorenorth.com/shop. So we've had the merchandise wing of scorenorth.com/shop where you can find your Before I Die, your Victory Monday hoodies and shirts. We've got some other stuff on the way. But now you can also find collectibles. scorenorth.com/collectibles. Thanks to our friends at U.S. Sports Auctions. And boy, they are the Justin Jefferson one-handed catch against the Bills. That's the biggest, most popular seller at this point. It's framed, it's signed right where he's reaching up with one hand to catch that pass. You can find that and all sorts of other amazing collectibles to fill out a man cave, whatever it is, over at Universal Sports Auctions. I think I said that wrong. Our friends at Universal Sports Auctions. ScoreNorth.com/shop and click on collectibles to see all the good stuff in store. Let's see. Anthony Schuster via YouTube says, bring back Thor Nystrom. So we have gotten a lot of questions about why is Thor not here? I feel like I'll just address it for like 10 seconds, 15 seconds. We love Thor. It wasn't really our choice. Thor had an opportunity to go to another platform for the season, and the platform that he went to doesn't allow their contributors to be a part of Score North. So the door's open if Thor ever wants to come back. We love that guy, and he's been a blast to have on our platform the last year. We hope he kicks ass and crushes it, and maybe at some point there will be an opportunity for him to come back to Score North and Purple Daily.
Absolutely.
Corey Larson says, is there a way that we could trade for Kyler Murray after the season without absorbing his full cap hit? A couple years ago, I would have been like, ooh, Kyler Murray might be available. Right. I don't know, man. Some of the leadership stuff, like the video game stuff, I don't know.
And that contract too. They're not looking to go pay. Like, this is the whole thing. They're not looking to pay a guy a ton. They're not looking to inherit. And Kyler has a contract now that is among, I think, the top 10, the top 5. Long story short, they're looking to get a cheaper quarterback. So yeah, Kyler Murray, in my opinion, is a complete non-starter as a conversation because he doesn't fit what the Vikings would want, potentially as a quarterback, but more importantly, financially too.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird deal. And then Jeff Dixon says, if 32 NFL head coaches were in the ring for a battle royal, who would be the first guy tossed over the top rope, and who would be the last man standing?
Mike McDaniel's getting out of that ring in 5 seconds. I
Just
love
little
Mike
whippersnapper.
Okay, he is the guy that's thrown in there as the squash guy in the Rumble that runs in for 5 seconds and is completely and quickly eliminated. I would say, I'm like talking out loud here, but a final 4, if you will, in a Rumble would be probably Robert Saleh, Dan Campbell,
Andy Reid,
who else?
Vrabel's in it.
No, because
for
the
sure.
big guys, Vrabel's for sure.
Yeah, they'd team up to get the big guy out, probably. Like Andy Reid would get dumped.
To get Andy Reid out. And then 4th, I mean, you need a dark horse, right? You always need a guy that's kind of shocking. Do we put Kevin O'Connell?
KOC's in pretty good shape.
No, you know what? No. Sean McVay. He'd be tough as he would. I think he would beat O'Connell up.
Rey Mysterio, who has won Rumbles, has also had 45, 50-minute appearances in other Rumbles too. He'd be the Rey Mysterio guy who's somehow defying all the odds of his size to outlast the other competitors.
I think McVay is stout. I mean, O'Connell is very, very tall, but he's a string bean.
The Rey Mysterio comparison. Yeah. Can we get Sean McVay in a luchador mask in that ring? Be pretty fun. So, all right, that's all the comments that we have time for here on this. Well, I mean, we had some football conversation. We hashed a few things out, some conflicts on the show. Mm-hmm. I think we got to a deeper understanding of each other here today. It was a very, very productive live stream.
Straight cash.
Straight cash. Judd, before we say goodbye, can you tell the audience about your favorite van?
Oh, of course I can, because that van comes from my friends at Finch Home Solutions. And Finch Home Solutions, when you see that van, you know what? You just don't think of the local National Football League team here in town, but you also think of people that are going to take care of any electrical issue, as it says right there, electrical specialists in your home. Finch Home Solutions, big or small. So we're talking about from an outlet being replaced. Yes, they can come to your house and absolutely do that, to your home being rewired completely. In fact, right now, they're offering a free electrical panel inspection or $199 for home safety inspection, which can be incredibly important. Finch Home Solutions takes care of all electrical issues in your home, and it's as easy as making a phone call or going to a website, 612-357-2604 or finchhomesolutions.com. FinchHomeSolutions.com. As I keep saying, they are a first-round draft pick when it comes to electrical issues in your home. They're going to take care of them.
Hey, and the Minnesota Renaissance Festival is happening weekends, Labor Day, and Festival Friday through October 1st. Beer, food, Vikings, jousting. That's right, jousting. You ever seen jousting in person? Well, you can at the Renaissance Festival. 16 stages of exciting entertainment, delicious food, 50 games, rides, and attractions, and over 250 artisans and shops throughout the festival. Also, through the Score North app, users have a chance to win a 4-pack to Bold North Adventure Weekend. So all you have to do is go on the app, go into Listener Rewards, and you can enter to win a 4-pack of tickets to Bold North Adventure Weekend. Visit renaissancefest.com for discount prices, parking passes, park and ride options, and more. All right. We are 1 week away from the start of the actual NFL season, and we will be announcing various Purple Daily schedule things next week. Alex Boone is going to be back in the mix for some film breakdowns and some clownery. So we are pumped. Hope you guys have a great Labor Day weekend. Purple Daily, Daily Vikings Entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win the Super Bowl before we die.